Hello, it is I, Dr. Brian Lorgon 111, and welcome back to Void Stranger. For today, there's a number of things I wanted to do with Dis in the endgame. One of them is here. You can see the planets, or whatever, that are like flying by here, and you can see them through the glass. But if I erase the glass, you can't see them in the void, which I imagine is just kind of like some weird kind of like visual coding bug, as opposed to something with lore reasons. But I just thought it was interesting, and so wanted to go ahead and show it off. And in any case, I haven't recorded or really played the game very much in like the last 2 weeks. And so I hope that's not going to slow me down too much, but I think I pretty much know the game very well at this point. And right. Not that well, apparently, though. I forgot that there's a love statue in here, which means I can't pick that up. Oh, actually, there's something that I want to do that I can do from right here, so let's do that next. I wanted to see if there's a way to get from Dis back to the Void Tower. And one way I know you might be able to do it is by editing your save file, because that tends to send you back to Basement 001, so I'm going to give that a try. And so far as I can tell, the answer appears to be that just like when you're playing Sif, it seems that you can't edit the location in your save file. If you try to do that, it basically just kind of sends you back to where you already were. Also, I keep doing this the wrong way, so I'll need to remember how to do it. There's a bunch of rooms in Dis that I'm going to need to remember how to do, but I'll go ahead and do those on my own and see what the next interesting bit. One thing I am still trying to rationalize is the whatever this is that seems to be just kind of like static on the screen. Like, is this a screen that's projecting a solar system? Is this like the universe actually showing the solar system? Like, we wouldn't be able to see the actual paths of the planets if it were the actual universe. But this stuff is unmoving, whereas the planets are circling around, and so I'm trying to kind of reason about what this might be, but I still don't know. This room is especially interesting because it looks like you can possibly see what would be like the center of the solar system somewhere on the screen. But unfortunately there aren't any glass tiles to like see if we could witness anything interesting at the center of the solar system. There's another room that appears to possibly give a decent look at what might be the center of the solar system. And so I'd like to try to look at that at some point when I get up to it as well. This is not a good place to put this tile, upon further reflection. But yeah, I remember most of these disc puzzles pretty well, so I'm not struggling too much. But yeah, it seems like the center of the solar system would be somewhere kind of just above where I'm standing, maybe, or just to the left of it. Somewhere around here. So here's another room where it looks like the center of the solar system might be on the screen. This is also a room where I haven't showed something off. To cease this endless path, the Void Lords must descend, one after another, from the beginning to the end. But were you to realize you're out of your depth, follow me into the void, and you shall return to where you started. And so basically, if you don't push the statues off in the correct order, you just end up repeating the room. Follow me off into the void basically means going down here. And if you go down here, the game is actually kind. And in case you change your mind, there's one more room that we've never seen before. And so it's this room. Oh, where there's no music. Just occurred to me. Just in case, if you have any second thoughts, move the stairs. Don't ask how I know. And so if you decide you actually did want to go back to Dis and solve the puzzle, as opposed to, I presume this would exit you out of Dis. You know what? No, that's a Sif statue. It wouldn't exit you out of Dis. It would cleanse you or whatever. So that would just, yeah, take you back to the start and kind of lose most everything. But if you do this, it just brings you back to this room, so that's nice. And I don't even need to look at notes anymore in order to do something like this. I know that it's going to be add, and then use, and then be, and then mon, tan, gore, lev, sif? Is that correct? Yay, I did it. Alright, and something else I didn't show off. The next 8 rooms, so there were like 28 puzzle rooms like there always are. And then these 8 are one devoted to each individual Void Lord. And so here is add. And so we've got 4 add statues. And then this one is use, and it looks like a heart, and we've got use statues. Which means, I guess the next one is about to be B, and there was something I wanted to do with that. Yeah, I was just checking my notes. The thing I had to try was after killing B to see if I could edit my save file and get sent to the Court of Justice, but I've already decided I can't edit my save file in this and get sent to the Court of Justice. So I will meet you at the next interesting bit. B is down. Here's Mon's room. And then I guess this is Tan's room? Right, because we fight him in an arena that's kind of like this. And obviously there's no Tan statue here because there's no enemies here. And then we've got Gore's room. There's nothing too particularly exciting that's going on inside here. And then we've got Leb's room, and then finally Sif. So I took a break before recording this segment. I was watching a streamer that I've been watching a bit of the last few days who's been playing through the game. And they are 6 hours into a continual Sif fight, trying to beat it legitimately, and they did 3 hours of it yesterday, and they've gotten pretty good at it. I've learned a bit about the game. But there are a number of things that I've been wondering about the Sif fight for myself. And so one thing I'm curious about is, if you were to turn off your burdens before going into the Sif fight, like, would you just not have them in the fight? I'm just kind of curious to see how that would work. And so you can see I don't have wings right now because I start falling in the hole. And I can't really demonstrate not having the sword, but I'm just curious what will happen if I get here. Like, will I have wings for the fight? I think you can actually pause during the fight as well. You made it here. So that must mean B is all ready. I think Sif's still my favorite character. Oh, right, we get this music again, too. I forgot about that. This is the way you want to end it all. Can't remember the last time Disc called us a steep. Not gonna go easy on you out of sentimentality. Evaluating admin request. Raising admin rights to level 4. And so I've learned also from watching other people try to do the Sif fight legitimately. Notice, by the way, the exit on the left-hand side. There's a lot of subtleties that I didn't appreciate before about this fight, in terms of if you're trying to do it legitimately. But the thing I wonder about... okay, so you see him summoning on the right. He's like telegraphing the attack he's about to do. But I guess it's the case... Yeah, I think I was falling off. Oh, right, I still had HP. I'll just void myself, it's fine. So I'll just see if I can pause and turn my wings back on as well. Is this your first time here? It is not. Give me an apple. It's kind of funny that Lev is just like right here, still trying to help us out. Just before we're going to go, and he'll try to like usurp, take over the universe. You wish to continue? Yes. I'll leave you to it. And I think it's faster to eat the apple if you said it's not your first time here. Okay, so can I pause and go to my burdens and turn these back on? Oops. Seems like I can. And if I do that, yes, I do have the wings now. Okay. So what I'm curious about is if there's sometimes that the left guy summons, and I wonder if I can hit him with a block. And so I want to try that. Sif usually has his arms crossed, but occasionally you can see his hands come out while he's doing stuff. And that was just me making a mistake there. Sif's arms are crossed just like in his statue back in the Void Tower. Alright, summon number 0. This is the one that I just failed at before. So yeah, you have apparently some iframes while you're moving between tiles, and I think perhaps it is the case that projectiles only hit in like the center of their tiles that they're hitting. And so there's a way to like move through some of the projectiles, and then there's, you know, ways just to like dodge around the rest. And I see people doing it extremely successfully and then hitting Sif with a whole bunch of attacks. I am not going to even bother trying because after 9 hours, like, I would be about as good as, like, some of these people I've been watching are in, like, their first try. But I do have to survive an attack or two in order to possibly see the guy on the left try to do his little summoning thing, and so I'll see if I can do that. So I guess let me stop talking and focus on not dying for a second. Yeah, like, these attacks, like, I can see what's happening on the screen, I know the moves I would have to do, but just executing them with the correct timing is just too difficult for me and my old fingers. So I would have absolutely no chance of ever succeeding in this. So I'm glad that Void Stranger is a puzzle game, and there's a way to beat it just by being clever as opposed to beat it by being dexterous. Okay, there he is. I fell into the hole. Alright, but that's what I'm trying to do. I'm trying to build up over to him and then hit him on the left-hand side, because I want to see what happens. I know you can hit Sif on the right-hand side, and I've never tried to or witnessed anybody hit him on the left. Okay, there he is on the left. Ah! I did something. I would like to try it again. I'm not certain that I did it completely correctly. Alright, there he is. There we go. Okay, so you can just hit him with your sword, but he doesn't die like an insta-death like this guy does. Okay. So that's the guy that you have to kill in order to, like, insta-kill Sif. Alright. Well, I accomplished another thing that was on my list, which was learning what happens if I hit the left guy. And I presume it just deals some amount of damage, just like hitting Sif with blocks would. But yeah, I'm sure you can find elsewhere on the internet where people try to beat Sif legitimately just by stuffing blocks into his body, which apparently is another way that you can kill him. But for now, actually for now, what I want to do before I step in here is go into the settings, and there is a step counter that you can turn on that looks like this, and it shows how many steps you've taken on the screen and how many times you've used the Void Rod, like so. And I was just curious in the shmup phase if it actually has any effect, and so I want to have it left on just in case it does anything once we get to the shmup phase. But I guess before there I also want to save here, so I'll be right back. Another one of the things I had in my notes were there any HUD shenanigans that we can do in here, but one, we can't actually use our rod because there's a Lev statue anyway, and two, there's a Mon statue that's going to prevent us from getting south into the HUD anyway. So really the only thing that we'll be able to do in this floor, other than walk over here and push Gore off, is to go ahead and step in to mine the gap. So that is what I will do. There's kind of tenderly things in the background there too. I need to think more about them. Been doing a lot of thinking about various lore kind of stuff. The first half of the game, like, I made a lore video. It was cool. I'd found a bunch of things. I have found a bunch more things, but there isn't much more of the game to explore, and there's still many, many, many unanswered questions. So I have to figure out how I'm going to do future lore videos. Perhaps some of them have already aired by the time you're watching this. I'm not sure how I'm going to air them as well. So in any case, long cutscene here, but eventually we'll get into the shoot 'em up, shmup portion of the game. And one of the things I want to do is to try losing twice, because if you lose once, Lily ends up back here or whatever. Yeah, so let me just advance to there and we'll talk about that. So here's another thing I want to show off. If you change your language to Finnish, and presumably, okay, that's the second to last thing on the bottom. And then, I guess this is resume. The text at the beginning of the shoot 'em up is going to be in English rather than Finnish. And so hopefully I will be able to figure this out so that we can actually read it and watch it. All right, here we go in Finnish. So it's always intended to be kind of like the opposite language from the one that you chose. All right, very loud side effect to travel through time or whatever we're doing here. I presume since Lev wanted the moment of creation, like he's going back in time to try to like stop everything from happening. But I'm still not sure what happens in the past and versus the future. At the very opening cutscene, we saw the Earth being hit by the comet, but we could also see lights, like city lights, on the dark side of the planet, implying that it was already like at least modern-day Earth because the cities were lit up. Yeah, I'll have more to say about that in some other video, I'm sure. Okay, so the goals here are twofold. There's the comet, known as Lilith. Captain, yet another massive energy spike rising directly above the planet. Where is it heading? It seems to be tailing right behind the first unknown target. Both are heading toward the comet as we speak. We're too close to fail now. All squadrons, prepare to engage. Destroy both targets before they're able to reach Lilith. May you bask in the glory of the stars. I believe is the text that we just saw there. I'm intentionally taking hits because I want to fail at this. So two things. One is I did fail the first time, and we're going to get a chance to witness it again here. When you do fail, minor spoilers for Zero Ranger, the game developer's preceding game, so if you don't want a Zero Ranger spoiler, like skip ahead 30 seconds. But in Zero Ranger, at the very end of the game, the final battle, if you lose, it resets your entire save data, and you go back to the start of the game. And so this is kind of a joke call out to that, basically, because we've reached, quote-unquote, the final battle. The adventure of life never ends. And then all of a sudden, we see the opening cutscene from the start of the game. And so if you've played Zero Ranger, you're like, oh my gosh, did it just delete my save file, and do I have to start the game completely over because I failed at the final shoot-'em-up boss battle? Notice the city lights lit up on Earth here, by the way, since I was just talking about it. Now we can witness it. However, you realize it's a joke at this moment when all of a sudden, like, Lily wakes up. Right here. But she's going to be speaking Finnish. But she says something like, I just had a horrible memory about what might have happened or something. And it's the usual kind of like, when something bad happens, it didn't actually happen. It was just in your imagination. So one of these was settings, and then this one is language. And I want to turn this back to English. And then resume the game. Great. So after losing once, one of these things lights up, and we're able to talk to something here. And it speaks without any beeps and boops. Little one, you're almost there. No matter how difficult things might get, I believe in you. These words fill you with warmth. You can do this. I have heard... I don't know really what substantiates it, but I've heard that this is like the spiritual voice of Lily's mother, the queen, who's supposed to be speaking there and giving words of encouragement. And if she speaks without beeps and boops and like she's dead or something, like is that like, like a voice from the heavens kind of thing? And does that imply that like Judge Zero's dead? I don't know. Once again, more lore stuff for me to sort out. In any case, I want to try failing a second time. It is more difficult to fail the second time around by virtue of the fact that the first time around there are both white and black projectiles, like two different variations that various enemies shoot at you. And one of them, I forget which color right now, can be defeated. Gosh, that sound is so loud. One of them can be defeated by using your melee attack, and the other color cannot. However, in the after you've already died once and proven that you're incompetent, they make the game easier, and I guess both types of projectiles can now be defeated by your melee attack. And so if you failed once, then the game gets much, much easier to try to help ensure that you're going to succeed. Kind of vaguely reminiscent of in the Void Tower, like if you fail a little ways in or whatever, like you can get the Infinity brand, which will help you out, and you can get the various brands that give you the various upgrades after you've located those. Stage 0 starts. 0 does look like the Zero, Sanskrit Zero that's Ad's original memory state or whatever. And I guess just to like show it off, I'm gonna swipe at white projectiles and they're being destroyed, and do I have any black projectiles around that I can demonstrate on? I don't know that I do. So I'm just going to continue taking more damage. Oops, I accidentally picked up a power-up. So yeah, the little orbs that like fly back and forth or whatever are like the power-ups. Well, let's see if we die a second time, if something different happens. Because I have never witnessed this. Like, I haven't done it myself before, and I haven't watched anybody else do it. And so I'm not sure if it'll just send us back in the same state or if anything different will happen the second time. But it does, in fact, just play through exactly the same cutscene as we saw before. Is something wrong? For a moment, I had this terrible sinking feeling in my stomach, like something very, very bad was about to happen. Calm down, you can do this. Okay, and now there's nothing to talk to over here. Alright. So I was wondering about that, and now I have my answer. So the other thing I want to try to do is I still have not successfully flown into Lev's heart, and there's like some extra content at the end. So I'm going to try to play well for 7 minutes and get to the end, and then once we get to where it's just we're a little diamond flying into Lev's heart, see if I can do that successfully. So wish me luck. Okay, only get one shot at this. So let's try to succeed. Lev is blowing up. And I think I will be able to block all of the different types of projectiles in this phase of the game as well. But you just kind of periodically like put out a shield that destroys projectiles or something. So I just need to look for my opening. Alright, here's a chance. I forgot I need to hit the button. Gosh darn it. And I did not successfully do it. So I need to try again. Let me reload a save. Okay, let's try this again, but let's remember that I have to hit the button once I fly into Lev's heart. Here goes nothing. Okay, so I have controlled the little diamond. I just need to do some avoidance here. Every so often I put out a little force field that destroys all the nearby attacking particle thingies. And now's my chance to get into the center. Ah, I got hit by again. Ah! It's gonna take me so many tries. Alright, I made it through again. I think I didn't lose this time, and so I'm not immune to black projectiles, which is gonna make things more difficult. Because I think there are black projectiles that can appear in this phase. Okay. Can I get close enough this time? No. Yeah, here come the black projectiles, so I have to avoid these. Alright. But I did kind of an okay job there, it seems like. Okay, let's try going it. I pressed the button. I did it. Okay, this is new. And I am recording. Great. So rather than an explosion of black, there's an implosion of black. And now this is going to lead me to a new cutscene, is my understanding. It's Lily Gray combined thingy? Or is it just Lily? I think it's just Lily. I will have to... Okay, it's just Lily. There was a Rodin thinker statue at the top of the Gates of Dis that I'll probably talk about at some point more in lore. I'm not sure if these are specifically anything. Wherever I walk, we've got kind of like this weird effect. I can't walk off the edges. Pressing my interact button doesn't do anything. There's like super weird music and ambience here. Alright. But yeah, these people have kind of like diamond heads, just like the Thinker statue did. And otherwise, yeah, and I guess the same wings. These are very similar to the wings of the things that were on the outside of the gate. So I'll have to take a look at the gate again. Just after you kind of like solve the empty brand puzzle to get into Dis and you travel through the gate. Alright, where does this take me? There is a diamond thingy that almost looks like an NPC. It's like the octahedron, but it's the octahedron who's not angry. Why is there just like one block over here? That makes me curious. So can I talk to you? Grass. We made grass. How does it feel? Now to make trees. How to make trees. So this has a voice of like a strange creature, but it's a strange creature in this place. And this is... Oh, and it actually turns into the spinning octahedron. Okay. So this is Lev's enemy kind of person thing here. Because there's one enemy that corresponds to each Void Lord. And... Alright. There's one over there as well. Oh, and I can just walk over there. I wasn't sure how I was going to get there. You are not cold. How to be not cold. The diamond is also the shape of Lev's missing heart. And so... Yeah, and then we just have kind of like outer space particles that are like kind of floating up near here. There's particles like this, I think, at the very start of the game before you play it all, that I'm not sure that I've shown on screen, and so at some point I'm going to have to capture that as well. We'll get to that. So this appears to be like a maze, I guess. And I just have to figure out which way to go in order to get to the exit, I guess. Alright, I'm not sure what is the point of this, really. But we're doing things and stuff. Similar kind of thing here. I presume there is just a way and I need to find it. So yeah, the, I don't know, meaning of this place kind of escapes me, but I get the gist. I guess you can call that a puzzle. And this appears to be the end of the road. Doesn't appear to be anywhere else that I can walk. Ah, one more strange creature. Cradle. We made a cradle of dreams. Trees. They are the same. This is kind of shaped like Sif. I did not look at the other shapes. I only happened to notice this one, or possibly a Sanskrit numeral 7. So I'll have to look back at the previous kind of like shapes of the terrain to see if they were shaping anything out. But yeah, I'm not sure exactly what to make of all of this text. So I may rationalize that at some point in the future. And now here is trees. We made trees. Rest. It's a resting tree. All right. Let's rest. What will we see here? Will the game shut itself down? It does. It's the music from the dancing scene. Or it's a variation of it, maybe? Maybe it's the exact same music. Nothing is appearing on the screens. You're seeing what I'm seeing. Oh, here we go. Oh. Okay. And I believe in white in the front is Lev. And then in dark in the back, I guess, is gray/Ad. And in the background is the cosmos. And I appreciate how easy the rhythm game is to play, although once again, I'm not sure that my performance really matters. So I happen to know that there's 2 different cutscenes. One for Gray getting to Dis and then getting into Lev's heart, and one for Lily getting into Dis and getting Lev's heart. And I do plan to get Lily's as well, even though I found the past, I don't know, 40 minutes pretty tedious and frustrating because I'm not good at the shoot 'em up and getting into Lev's heart. But I will definitely do it because I want to capture it on camera. I think the music is different. It's possible that I'm misremembering, but I think the music is a little bit different. So in any case, we're having a dance. Lev and Ad, I suppose. And Lev was talking about, you know, Lev is the heartless being cold or whatever. How do you not feel cold? And so maybe this is what we're getting for her, just kind of in the end of Act 2 with Lily's ending, getting back to Gray. Was kind of like closure for her or something. Like maybe this is a type of closure for Lev. Getting to experience this moment. The music itself... There are many terrific tracks on the Void Stranger soundtrack. I have purchased the soundtrack on Steam and listened to a bit of it. This is not one of the best. But there's like 69 tracks, I think, or whatever. And probably like 40 of them are great. So, yeah, I don't really mind. And I'm not that much of a music enthusiast, but I hear a lot of people just like raving about the soundtrack or whatever. So a lot of people seem to like it. And I've heard people that even say that like the soundtrack kind of is the carry in the game, because the puzzles can get tedious in the middle or in the beginning, depending upon how good you are at puzzles, since you have to repeat them. I have some things to talk about in terms of like gameplay and overall mechanics and how this game does the thing that it does, because it's, I think, relatively different from most games I have played in a noteworthy way that I'm still trying to formulate exactly what my thoughts are to articulate it. So, yeah. I hate to be like teasing a bunch of things I plan to say in future videos or other videos. Oops, I missed one. But yeah. I've been having many thoughts as I've been watching other people play. I haven't had much of a chance to play myself the last couple of weeks. Yeah. This song really goes on for a long time. I remember the original dance game I thought went on for a long time, but I'm also bad at a rhythm game, and so I was kind of stressing out about... Oh, I just missed another one. My performance in that. But it looks like I'm going to get through this with maybe just 2 or 3 misses. But yeah, I don't know that the length of either of the songs adds much to the gameplay. And even for me, who's not good at rhythm games, like, I'm not interested in the challenge of, like, trying to do it perfectly. And even if I were, it's, like, the type of people who would be, like, it's easy enough that they'll be able to do it on the first try, and it doesn't matter if it's long or short. So I'm not sure why it's as long as it is. I don't think it's repeating. Like, I presume we're going to get to an end. Until we do reach that end, are there any other things that I have to say right at the moment? I'm trying to glance over at my notes. Oh, I think we're reaching the end of the song. Definitely felt like the high end of the notes were reaching new highs there. And I think we just had a change of key. Now it feels like it repeated again. Because this is the start of the song. So suppose I lose a bunch of times, I'm just going to take my hands off the keyboard. It doesn't even, like, mark it with X's. I guess I could, like, hit the wrong thing at the wrong time. Like, if I hit left here, if I hit down here. Oh, okay. I had another failure. And maybe that's all I needed to do. Why'd you stop? Or maybe it's because I took my hands off the keyboard? I'm not sure. Dots. In any case, there's a look at a Lev character with a mouth. I should note. This banal act, and she has her own speech beeps. Beep, beep, beep. Banal act of following predetermined steps in unison. That's a very kind of like heartless way of describing dancing. Okay. These are the kinds of memories you treasure. And this music, I think, also appeared one other place in the playthrough that we've seen thus far, although I don't remember exactly where. It's also harder for me to remember exactly when certain music has happened in the game, because I have recently bought the soundtrack and just been listening to it on my own. Alright. Is this all there is? Okay, that's a deep question from Lev. Sorry to disappoint. And I guess it's more gray than ad that we're seeing here. If there was a way for us to escape our karma, and so I think that's the idea of, you know, reincarnation. You get reincarnated over and over again when you die or whatever, unless you're able to reach enlightenment, which is kind of like what the game's about or whatever, trying to end the loop, a way to escape our karma or something, I think. If our kin were able to reach true happiness, I would wish this moment to never end. And then the memories fade away. And now I think we're just back to the good ending. The comet Lilith explodes. They said long ago they gave that name to the brightest star in the sky. What would be the brightest star in the sky? A piece of a comet falling to Earth would light up the heavens like nothing else. But now we've got the light star rather than the dark star. I think in this save file I have interacted with all the NPCs that can light up in the credits. So let's watch those together and see if we get to see them all. Also, I believe in this save file I have all of the secret fruits. Okay. The nun has gotten back home, but then Sister Ballbuster will bust in as she takes a puff of the cigarette. Great. The next one is the woman in the wedding dress who couldn't go through with it. There she is walking past a store, and the wedding dress is in the window. Did she return it? Did she not ever buy it? I'm not sure. She couldn't go through with her wedding. She also said she saw a giant snake. She didn't say that she saw like a giant snake with a person's head. Tail appears as the person's true love, and so I think the implication... Oh, darn, I don't have the treasure hunter here. I thought I talked to the treasure hunter. No, that's fine. We've seen the treasure hunter already in my previous playthrough. You guys have had a chance to see that on screen already, so I'm going to let that one go. The angry kid... Ah, darn, I don't have this one either. I thought, okay, maybe there's specific interactions I need to do in order to capture that one on the screen. So on Lily's playthrough, I will try to succeed at talking to and not killing that character, maybe is what you need to do in order to get them to appear in the credits. In any case, the girl with the wedding, like, presumably didn't love the person that she was going to get married to. I don't know if the implication is like that they cheated on them or what, but if she saw a snake, that meant she didn't see her true love as Tail. Yeah, and the sin of the area is lust, and still trying to work out, like, the NPCs, other than suggesting the structure of Dante's Inferno, like, even with the cutscenes at the end, I don't think we learn much more about them or their story. This is the one place in the game where we can see the sprites of all 8 Void Lords. We've seen a number of them. However, Use is one we have not. I believe it's going to appear in the lower left. Yes. It's got kind of a dragon or serpent head before they all fade away. And yeah, I'll have some more to say about that in a lore video as well. And then a hand cradling Lily's face before she wakes up. Back on Earth. So let's see. I did have my step count turned on, and it did not give me any scoring in the shmup. That was the reason that I wanted to turn on the step count graphics or whatever. And we did successfully get into Lev's heart. So yeah, in a future video, I will come back and play through the ending as Lily so that we can see a different cutscene when we manage to fly into the end of Lev's heart with Lily's character. So that's something to look forward to. There's the brand that brings you into the dev room, and that has Lily apparently on the outside of the mural. The R in system erasure, fourth column, second to the bottom row, is 1 pixel too high. Does that have any meaning? I have no idea. These are the types of things I look at because I'm looking at every pixel of all the art. You little imp. I have been trying to figure out the timeline of Gray and her early history because you sneaked out on your own again. That's not how you're supposed to talk to a princess. Like heck I care. Gray is using foul language here. My butt to grass if anything happens to you. Hag. What did you call me? You started it. So Gray and Lily have not yet developed their rapport. Gray is not yet as refined. This is apparently... I swear, one day I'll watch that mouse of yours. Still in kind of the early history of Gray being the lady-in-waiting to Lily. Why do you have to disappear like that? I visited Mom at this hour. I thought I might see her star if I looked hard enough. But there are way too many. Can't tell them apart at all. I'll have more to say about that in a lore video. Next time I'll help you find it. Really? I swear. Just don't run away like that anymore. Alright, is there something else? Could you tell that story before bed? Story of the stars. It's getting way too late for that. I'll tell Father you called me a little imp. Fine. Come here, little imp. And in this picture that we're about to see, in the beginning, when the sky and the earth were still one and the same, a flower gave bloom, lighting up the space with stars. Gray's hair is relatively short. Throughout the cutscenes in Act 1, her hair was much longer. When entering the Void Tower, it was actually cropped short. I'd kind of missed that detail. At the top, I can't remember if I've talked about this before, but the bottom word on the cover of the book is Sakra, if you convert it from the Zero Ranger text, and so presumably it's Devana Mindra Sakra that we're reading on that book. But yeah, Lily looks a bit younger. Gray is a bit younger. What's Gray's early history? How did she become Lady-in-Waiting and Guardian of the Princess? What's her backstory with the Queen? We hear a little bit about it when Lily talks to the bandit. And there are some other inferences that we might be able to draw from other outside possible source text. But I'll have to come back to that in the future as well. So, in any case, I'm definitely getting close to the end of things that I want to witness on screen from gameplay and moving more towards the mode of me trying to put together more of the story and the lore in the video at this point. But there's at least one other very interesting bit of gameplay that I do want to get to. But once again, that'll have to be something for a future video. So I'm going to say, I hope as always, that you all are having a great day, and I will see you again soon with more Void Stranger. For now, bye-bye.